All right. Well, we have our 49ers final injury updates and availabilities for this game against the Rams, which will be the team's season finale. However, we have some really unfortunate news that we have to go over. And I feel terrible just having to talk about this. I can't believe we are finding ourselves in this position, but as I'm sure you may have already heard, Jason Verrett tore his rotator cuff, which is located in your shoulder, in practice yesterday. He will be out for the season, and the timetable is about 4 to 6 months recovery, according to Kyle Shanahan. Just awful. Kyle Shanahan was explaining what happened. Apparently, Jason Verrett went up high for a ball, came down awkwardly on his shoulder, tried to brush it off like it was going to be all right. Came in today, got an MRI, and confirmed that he has a torn rotator cuff. So he will be done for the season. Kyle Shanahan talked about how he was going to get extended reps and he was going to play quite a bit in this game to kind of see and gauge where he is heading into the playoffs. So, man, I'm gutted for this dude. Absolutely gutted for Jason Verrett. I mean, another season-ending injury in practice, unbelievable. As we know, just in 2022, he was trying to come back in a game and he tore his Achilles in practice when he was just about to start playing. It's just, we already know about his extensive injury history. I just feel absolutely terrible for the guy. I don't even know, man. Like, Jason Verrett was one of my favorite players because he was a draft crush of mine coming out of TCU. So I've been a fan of his since he was with the Chargers, and just absolutely gutted for him. Thinking about him, thinking about his family. Kyle talked about how he hoped that he would stick around the facility because, of course, everyone loves him there. But man, I feel terrible for him. Especially too, the 49ers potentially could have used him coming up here. So just gutted for Jason Verrett. But that's not all the news, as we know. So a lot of stuff to cover as the 49ers get prepared to close out the season. I guess in some better news, Ray McLeod has officially come off IR and he will be available to play this weekend if the 49ers so choose to do so. And he's officially listed as questionable. Obviously, he will be a primary returner throughout the playoffs. So that will be a good get for the San Francisco 49ers as they get ready for their playoff push. Some other updates. This is the list of players who will not be playing in this game and have officially been ruled out by Kyle Shanahan. Running back Christian McCaffrey, defensive lineman Eric Armstead, quarterback Brock Purdy, safety Tashawn Gibson, safety Jair Brown, tight end Ross Dwelly, and cornerback Ambry Thomas. Obviously, with Ambry Thomas being down, Jason Verrett was likely going to get the start. So, or like Kyle Shanahan alluded to, at least at minimum, getting a ton of snaps. So just it's hard to give this update. I feel sick to my stomach a little bit just about what happened to Jason Verrett. But obviously, we got to figure out who's going to step up for the safety position as the 49ers effectively have all four of their safeties that made the active roster out of training camp out for this game. So they're going to have to likely rely on Isaiah Oliver, who's been the slot. They're going to probably have to bump him up to safety, bring some guys off the practice squad. Obviously, Logan Ryan got the start last week, so he'll likely get the start again. But you have Taylor Hawkins on the practice squad, Eric Harris on the practice squad that will likely have to fill in. So these guys won't go. And also in regards to Eric Armstead, John Lynch talked about how he is hopeful that Eric will be able to play in the playoffs. So there's still kind of TBD, but it does sound like it's trending for Eric to be back. Now, this is a guy that we've been waiting to see, Jawan Jennings, still in the concussion protocol. He's in the third week of the concussion protocol. So I don't know what's going to happen with Jawan. According to Kyle Shanahan, there's still one more step that Jawan has to clear in order to get out of the protocol. For example, Jalen Moore, who played in a game like beyond like Juwan had already missed one game, and then Jalen Moore got a concussion, and Jalen Moore's good to go. He's cleared the protocol, and Jalen Moore will be able to play in this game against the Rams. So it's an interesting situation. I'm not really sure what to make of it. With Juwan Jennings still not being able to clear, obviously brain injuries are very serious. So hopefully, it's nothing too bad, and they're just being precautionary. But I would love to see Juwan Jennings in this game against the Rams, especially to kind of get him some reps as they get ready for the practice squad and all that type, or excuse me, as they get ready for the playoffs, not the practice squad, coming up here. So let's continue to go through the list of players who are questionable right now. Jonathan Feliciano, who's been dealing with a back, he is questionable. Danny Gray is listed as questionable, and also Ray McLeod as questionable. So this is the thing. We still have a roster move coming for Ray McLeod. Even though Danny Gray is listed as questionable, I don't think he's officially been brought up off IR. So, but with Ray McLeod coming off IR, there is an expectation that a roster move will have to be made. So that means someone will have to be waived off the 53-man roster. So we don't know who that is yet. Kyle Shanahan said he hasn't alerted the player yet of what their plans are. So, as Kyle likes to do, which I do commend him for, he likes the players to find out directly from him rather than finding out through the media. So, we will that will be one more update that will be on the lookout for, is to see who gets released off the 53-man roster to make room for Ray McLeod. But that is a lot of updates for the final game of the season. Now we know a lot of these players who are out versus the Rams is precautionary. We heard from John Lynch that Trent Williams will play. So I expect the full starting offensive line out there for the 49ers. I expect, doesn't sound like George Kittle is going to get any time off. Sounds like it's going to be go time for most of these guys, not named Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey, in this game against the Rams. Now, I still think there is a situation where the 49ers treat this like a preseason game. Maybe get a first quarter, maybe get a first half, and then just start throwing in all your backups as much as you can. We understand that there's a numbers game that's a part of this where you can't just pull all your starters. You have to play your starters. You just have to kind of pick and choose who gets to rest, who doesn't get to rest. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in that regard. But just still, I don't feel great. I don't feel great about Jason Verrett. I legitimately feel sick to my stomach for Verrett. I can't fathom it, dude. I can't wrap my head around it. Like, I remember being at training camp leading up to the 2022 season, and he had tore his ACL against the Lions in 2021 in the very first game. It'd been a complete season. They're heading into training camp, and every day before training camp, Jason Verrett is out there before practice, running the length of the field, doing his rehab, and it took him like all the way until like week 10, 11, 12 to be able to get cleared to play again. Then he tears his Achilles. Then he comes back again, which many probably thought he would just retire at that point. He gets to play against the Ravens on Christmas, and then tears his rotator cuff as he's getting ready to play a bunch of snaps heading into this game, the final game. So gutted. I don't know what other word to say. I'm just gutted, man. I feel for these dudes. I really do. Like, I have a huge respect for the players. I love the team, but I also love the players. Like, as a former player, I feel like I can relate to them at some level. So it's brutal, man. It's a brutal game. It's just a reminder that just like that, anything can happen. And so feel for JV. I don't know what the future holds for him, but definitely thinking about him today. So unfortunate, but let me know what you guys think about all these updates. Let me know how you're feeling in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.